All right. Hopefully we got this all set up here. Oop, I gotta kind of go live on TikTok here. There we go. All right, let's wait to see who we got in here. It is Resin time. What's up, everybody? God, TikTok land can barely even see me. This is a ginormous printer. All right, let's go and pull up some stuff really quick while we're waiting for some people to come in here. What's up, buddy? How's it going? Hopefully you guys can hear me loud and clear. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Hopefully you can. Uh, okay. Sound is good. Look and sound is good. Awesome. Great, great. Great. Grand. Wonderful. No yelling on the boss. Okay. We'll give it about, I don't know, 8 minutes or so to let some people come in here. Think that'll be good enough. We'll start at 7:10. Just pulling up some information here about the GK3 here. So I have it because I'll be honest, I haven't looked too much into the specifications of this. I know I've been terrible. So let's go ahead. Oh, you know what? I need to see who is commenting on this. By the way, if you guys aren't following the channels, go ahead and hit a follow. We're on all the social medias right now. Currently, we are streaming on YouTube, we are streaming on TikTok, and we are streaming on the Twitch channel. Why aren't we streaming on the Facebook? Well, let's talk about Facebook. So, on Saturday, I got a notification from my Facebook application that someone in Italy was trying to get into my account, and they had successfully done so. They had bypassed my two-factor authentication, and yeah, it basically locked me out of my account. They were able to change the Instagram account that was associated to my account. And because that Instagram account violated terms and services, Facebook instantly locked the account. Now, normally, if Facebook has something where somebody hacks it, you can easily recover it using some very simple steps. Well, this issue is a little bit more advanced because not only is it hacked, it's still there, but the page is completely disabled, which essentially Facebook takes away. So it looks like I have not existed on Facebook ever. And I'm pretty sure I'm one of the early people on Facebook. I've had a Facebook profile for a long time. It's where I do most of my business, it's where I do most of the stuff and getting stuff for reviews and, you know, checking out new products. It's how I do everything. And unfortunately, that was taken away from me. So I've been kind of dead in the water. This was the last review, and I couldn't even really tell the person that sent it to me, thank you for sending it. I have received it, and so on. What we're going to do with it, because I don't have that contact outside of Facebook. So I've hopefully relied on some friends to help out and get it all situated. But yeah, as of right now, I consider that profile gone forever. And it's really unfortunate, but it is what it is. And we're going to try and keep fighting for it. I have 175 days to fight for it, but from what I've seen on the internet, it's pretty much non-existent. There's no way to contact Facebook. I mean, there's some email addresses. I've emailed everybody I could. I've called any number that I possibly could, even some shady numbers, and to no avail. And that was literally like 3 days ago. I stopped doing that. Anyway, I have not heard any updates or anything. I'm not expecting any updates because, like I said, the consensus of the internet that this has happened, this specific type of thing that happened, pretty much your Facebook page is gone, which is unfortunate. Now, thankfully, there is still the Akuma Mods Facebook page, that's very strange that it's still there, but and I say it's strange because it's connected on the same email and username and password, essentially, that my account is connected to. The same goes for my Instagram. So all those are connected on one because they're all an ecosystem. So how those are still around is beyond me, but hey, whatever it is, what it is. And anyway, so I'm not going to bore you guys with all the Facebook stuff, but essentially that's what happens. What happened to me. If you guys don't see me on Facebook, that's probably why. I did end up creating a secondary account, which if anybody knows the terms and services about people getting suspended or banned from certain things, you're not supposed to create a second account. Me, being the dum-dum I am, decided to create it in the sense of, hey, I need to contact these people that I'm doing stuff for to let them know that everything's good. I got it. And subsequently, Facebook was like, hey, this is the same person, so you're out of here. So they ended up deleting that account, essentially, suspending it, or maybe even deleting it. I don't know. I can't even really log into that one. Anyway, so that's basically where it is right now. I don't have any Facebook at the moment. I don't know if I can even get another Facebook account until my page is essentially deleted in 175 days. So that is, you're all caught up with the lovely drama, I guess, in my life. So let's check on chat here. I should really like have something set up here so I can check chat. But yeah. So yeah, exactly. I'm having a nightmare. So let me check chat here really quick, and then we'll get everything situated in the next 2 minutes. So thank you for all of the gifts and everything. So yeah. So okay. I don't want to get too much into it because we're talking about another platform on another platform. But anyway, like I said, this is my livelihood. Facebook is my everything. If you wanted to cripple me, this is a fantastic way to do it. And I know there's a lot of people who are like, hey, this is terrible. It shouldn't have happened to somebody like you. And really, it shouldn't happen to anybody. I don't like to be the type of person where it's like, yeah, I help out a lot of people, but there's a lot more people out there that help more people than I can ever possibly imagine. But anyway, that's just my whole thing of how I react to situations like this. But anyway, it's unfortunate. We're gonna keep fighting it as much as we can, and see what comes of it. But like I said, I kind of chalk it up as a lost cause, in my opinion. So it is what it is. We still have TikTok, we have YouTube, we have Twitch, we have Twitter, and we have Instagram. If you guys need to reach out to me on any of those platforms, please do so. It's Akuma Mods across the board on every single one. Or Resin Printing God is actually on Instagram, which I might change that back. I don't know, because it's a mouthful to say that. So, but hey, it is what it is. Let's get into this. Let me grab my Kniffenfluben here, because, I'm always prepared for everything. Has someone contacted Crush for you? I don't know who Crush is. Anyway, so with that, me reaching out to several people, there's a lot of spam messages out there, and obviously I'm a pretty smart person when it comes to cybersecurity. I have to deal with it a lot at work, and the things that I have to do. So I'm pretty diligent with that type of stuff. But not everybody's perfect. So I did have some people reach out, and it just already had some red flags automatically. And then you see them constantly tagged, and I was just like, yeah, this is spam. So anyway, without further ado, let's open up the small package here really quick, just to get it up and out of the way so you guys can see what's going on. But I did wanted to show you guys this. They did include 2 extra resin refill kits. So these are blank. There's no resin in them, so I can fill them with whatever I want. And essentially, these are auto refill kits. Now, I've known that the Uniformation printers had these abilities since day one because I worked with the company before. I guess it was Uniformation. So there was another company back in the day called Weebox, and I used to work with them, and they literally had the exact same machines. They are made by another company. Weebox kind of went away. They do mostly industrial stuff. I don't even know if they're still in existence. Their website is still around. They still make huge machines and small machines. They're great. They look all like these type of machines. But I moved on to Uniformation because they're the most constant ones that are in the community. And I started working with them because, well, personally, they reached out to me and said, hey, you've worked with Weebox before. Can you help us establish a brand name? So back in the day, they sent me the Uniformation GK-1, and I promoted that to all high heavens, and it was a fantastic machine. My one gripe about it is that it was a perforated build plate, but you know what? It printed, and it printed beautifully, just like my original Weebox did. And I still had my original Weebox up until about a year ago, which I sold it, and as far as I know, it's still working and running, and it's at my buddy's house in Wisconsin, and he absolutely loves that thing. It is a little bit small for the times, but if you want a print done, it's literally a click and print. So anyway, all those printers had this ability. They were just very expensive at the time, and there wasn't a lot of technology behind it. They were the first printers that I knew of that had auto refilling systems. And this, we're talking about like 4 or 5 years ago. I had a Uniformation, no, I'm sorry. I had a Weebox Lite 215, and that was a huge printer for the time. At the time, the largest printer that you can get is an Elegoo Mars at that time, and that was a big printer for resin. And this thing was probably 4 times that, maybe 5 times. So anyway, it was huge, and you had the ability to swap out cartridges essentially like this, very similar to the Formlabs at the time. Well, Formlabs was way out of my price range, and it required special resins, and it just, the whole ecosystem was way too pricey to even remotely promote it to most people at that time. Maybe nowadays it would be a little bit, talking to you. But anyway, this is not something new. This is something new to the system that they finally incorporated. So it's nice to see these finally come into play, but I'm excited to actually test this out because this is actually a resin pump system that I'm actually excited for, because the way that it's all set up isn't like really janky. It's really involved into the system, and it doesn't look like it's just an afterthought. It's actually always been a part of the thought from day one. So they did send me another package here. I did open this just for clarification, just to see what's going on. I wanted to make sure I have everything and nothing was really destroyed. I have not opened a printer, so hopefully it's okay. As you can see, the condition of the box, but I did wanted to show you guys one of the nice things that I love about working with the community and working with companies, a little bit more beyond doing just the typical reviews and the unboxings that you guys see me do here on YouTube and TikTok and wherever you're watching it from, is building a better bond than beyond just that. You know, just, hey, you know, can you do this for us? Can you promote for us? It's actually like almost becoming part of the family. And I've always considered Uniformation something a little bit more to my heart, because again, I've started with them from day one. I've helped them promote, and it's fantastic to see them grow. We did have a little bit of a disagreement for a little bit, because they did start promoting with other content creators and kind of left the small people out who helped grow the company. So I was a little mad about that. Rightfully so, but we worked out a deal, and they added me into that kind of thank you video, is what it was, and so we're cool. We're all good and go. But I wanted to show you guys what they sent me. So this is a huge box. Look it, they sent me a huge box. No, I'm just joking. Is this in sight? Yeah, it is. All right, so we're gonna pull this out, and I'm just gonna show you guys a little bit. I'm not gonna pull it all the way out, but you can see this is what they sent me. So this, if I'm not mistaken, these are like the Dragon Festival type things. I haven't decoded what it says in Chinese here. I'm sure Cantonese, whatever language it's in. But this is what they sent me as a gift. So that I'm gonna mount that on my wall somewhere somehow. I don't exactly know. But the coolest thing, we had talked about this a little while ago, and they had asked me to send them over a file, and they ended up sending me this little guy. This guy looks familiar, doesn't he? Kind of taking the spotlight here, but they did an amazing job painting this. This is all hand painted, so I'm going to show you guys here in TikTok land the logo of my Akuma mods is insanely detailed and very, very well depicted. And they did an amazing job. They even did like great job on the jeans. They did like cuts on the jeans, like far superior than what I would have ever possibly done with the large Akuma that I have laying around here, wherever he's at. I don't know. Maybe the kids ran off with him. Oh, he's right over there. Way better than what I would have ever done with my large Akuma, but hey, it's cool to see that stuff. So, yes, weathering. Thank you, Jerry. Jerry is a master painter, so you know, I wish I could be a fifth of what Jerry's capabilities even are. So. All right, without further ado, let's get this bad boy opened so you guys can see what's going on with it. So, yeah. So, it looks like... Okay, scary there. Said OBS Studios has crashed, and I was like, no! This is a little tricky. They taped this thing up pretty good. All right, we're going to step away here. I know I said away from you, but that I had to do that to me for a quick second there. But as you saw, I backed away, not today. I literally cannot cut on a straight line to save my soul. Probably why I can't design anything to save my life, because, you know, I can never get straight lines right. Knife away, we're good, ready to rock and roll. All right, so let's see what we got in the goodies on the top here. So we have, it looks like an NFET film, and then we also have a surround for the actual screen. Let me swap my camera here really quick, because it's on follow mode for some reason, and it shouldn't be. It goes a little crazy at times, and I don't understand why it does that, because I even disabled that before we did the streaming. Whenever it decides it wants to boot up here, we can do normal tracking. I think because I do hand gestures a lot that I enable it. All right, so we have our certification from Uniformation, aka our quick check Uniformation slicer guide. I'll be honest, I used to be an avid user of the Uniformation slicer, but I kind of integrated everything over to Shitubox. I hate having to go to this slicer and that slicer for everything, and the Uniformation slicer is great. I absolutely love it. If you guys want just a super easy slicer, ready to rock and roll, use it. But I am an avid user of Shitubox, so I'm just going to end up probably using that as long as we have a profile on it. We have leveling paper. I can speak. So I'll be honest. I have maybe leveled a Uniformation printer once in my lifetime. That is it. And that is the Uniformation GK-1. And that's because we did some modifications to the build plate area before I ended up selling it. But that was the only time I ever had to level that printer. Everything else, the two Uniformation GK2s I had, never had to level them ever. Just peace of mind. Go ahead and take these bad boys out. Toss those. Hiya! All right. Yeah, this is going to be a chunky boy. So let's go ahead and move this down. Should I move this forward? Maybe I'll move it forward. You guys are still here, right? Yeah. Tilt up. Am I a little too far down? There we go. Thank you. All right. Let's go ahead and bring this bad boy down so we can get him out of the case. Oof. I don't really have much room to work with. You know, I'm not a big YouTuber. I can't afford my own little space here or anything. And to be honest, I don't think I ever would like to have my own little space because I'd never leave there. It would be bad. Oh, good thing I wasn't going to try that. All right, let's see how we get this bad boy out. Oh, looks like we got an extra thing of resin in here too. Oh, this is going to be tricky. Time to break some back. Let me get this out. Nope. That's a finger. Okay. All right. Well, definitely won't have much issues with packing. Definitely don't want to be breaking the hood right away. I think we're just gonna do this on the side here. So if you're unboxing this, I suggest having 2 people with you, if you can. If not, you're going to have to do the mumbo jumbo. Ole, 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 ole. Finger hurts. Finger hurts. Ugh. All right. Whew. There you have it. Wow, am I sweating. Good Lord, that's a big printer. A big boy. My little fan is not helping me very much tonight. All right. So, like I said, we do have an extra thing of resin here. So we actually have 3 little tubs of resin. Now, we don't have to use that. It's not like you can't use it without using a printer. You should be able to just use the printer by itself. All right. I'm going to give us a quick second here. Check out that. Is that a P1S? No, it is an X1 carbon. What's up, everybody? Sorry, TikTok land. I haven't I haven't checked on all of your guys' messages here. But I thank y'all for being here. Don't forget to like, follow, share it out if you guys can. That would be great. Anything to help out the channel. So, what do we have in box number 1? We have a giant version of the air filtration system. So this is an active carbon filtration system, and this is huge. I think the instructions, if I'm not mistaken, says to replace this about every 6 months. So I haven't replaced mine in a little while because I do use mine on and off. But it's always best practices to replace this every 6 months. They usually do have these readily available on Amazon when the product launches. We have our power cable. We're not going to use that right now because I do have one set up already for this setup. It's just a huge chunk of foam. We'll get to that one in a second here. Now we're gonna, we have our build plate. Show you that off in a quick second here, because that's the piece de la resistance. Now, supposedly there is locks on this. Can we not take this out without turning on the machine? Or is it just going to be finicky? Why is that piece in there? I don't know. A little piece in the back there. All right. So, this is pretty much the gist of the machine. We do have a giant vat here, and it looks like we do have a vat cover, the same as the GK2. So that's very nice. They're just a cheap, like plastic covering, but they do work very well to shield it from the sunlight. So if you're someone who likes to do hot swapping, you have different resins or different types of resins, different colors, whatever it may be, on the actual machine, you can swap this out and get different resins if you buy more vats. So let's check what's in here. Usually there should be some gloves and stuff. Yep, we have our blue little gloves. Always make sure you guys are using those. Looks like we got about 5 or 6 screws. We'll take a look and see what those are for. We have a nice little Uniformation USB drive. Looks like we have a Wi-Fi dongle, so we can print via Wi-Fi. Now, let me explain this to you. Resin printing, most resin printers that are good. Let me see how to word this properly. Most professional printers that you see, professional resin printers, will never ever have a Wi-Fi automatically installed in them. It will usually be an add-on. And the reason for that, and I was told at least, the reason for that is for cybersecurity. Most of the time they want them hardwired, A, because the file transfer is 100% there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, losing data, or anything like that. But it's also a security breach issue to have Wi-Fi on a printer, because anybody can access the Wi-Fi. If you guys know what a Flipper Zero is, I can literally access any printer that's on a network if I really wanted to. So you can do some major damage to people's printers. Looks like we have a no clog tool, hex key wrench. Kind of looks like a no clog tool. We have a nice little silicone scraper. These I always suggest to everybody, if you're trying to clean your vat, always use a silicone scraper. Do not use the plastic scrapers that come with those printers. Throw those out. Do not ever use those. Okay? And then, secondly, always have a very good scraper. This is a really, really nice scraper. We'll probably add this to the collection. We do have some filters. A nice little pair of typical cutters. And we do have a nice little silicone God, I can talk here. Silicone funnel. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this set up here. We're gonna go ahead and plug this bad boy in. And that way you guys can see all of the goodies. Let's check on chat here. That's better. I've never seen this channel before. I think I like it. We'll subscribe. Well, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, thank you. This is just a small tidbit of what I do in the community, at least for 3D printing and especially for resin printing. So we did plug it in. As you can see, there is no power in there because there's actually a power switch right here. Now, one thing that is very interesting to me, I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but in the bottom right here, you guys probably can't see it, but just off in the distance, there's this little blue like button right here. That's actually a leveler. That'll actually level out the entire system. Yeah, that is a leveler. Now, supposedly it's level right here, which, I don't know, that seems a little off, but that could be right. I don't know. So let's go ahead and power this bad boy on and see what's going on. Are you guys in TikTok? Oh, yeah, you guys are good. All my professional printers have the option to turn off the Wi-Fi and use Ethernet plug. Yes, but here's the thing. When I say professional printers, most of the people do not have professional printers. This is considered a professional or an industrial printer. The X1 Carbon from Bamboo is not a professional printer. That is a consumer printer. Now the X1E is an industrial printer. Most of the printers that you know and are aware of on the market are not industrial printers or professional printers. They are consumer grade printers. They are made for you and I to print on things. They're not made for professional use. There is quite a difference between them, but trying to explain it to somebody is very hard because they do pretty much exactly the same thing, but there are differences, very, very slight differences between the two. Case in point, this machine is vastly different than my Anycubic or my Elegoo or even my Frozen printers. Those are consumer grade printers. Elegoo does not produce any industrial printers that I am aware of as of right now. Not one of them. Anycubic, the same way. They may have produced something that was close to that, and I think that was the Max 4, I think it was. It was an enclosed printer. That was about as close as they got to an industrial style printer, and they scrapped it. But in terms of selling printers right now, they're, yeah, Elegoo, Anycubic, Bamboo has their X1E, Frozen has their dental printers. That's more of a professional printer. Frozen has their dentals. Who else? That's pretty much the big ones. Oh, Creality. So Creality has their consumer grade printers, and then they have Pio Next or Pio Create, which is their industrial professional printers, which I actually have one of them right down here. Now what? Yeah, and I have a Nexa 3D as well. I have a Nexa 3D. That is a $6,000 printer. Does it do anything different than an Elegoo does? No, no different. But the printability, just like this printer, I can click and print, and it will print every single time. That is the difference between why I like Uniformation over any other brand. And I'm not just saying that because we're doing a review. Lots of people who know me will always know that I will tell you, if you're looking for a printer that's comparable to, like, let's say a Bamboo Labs printer, something like that on the FDM side that's comparable to Resin, this is about as close as you're getting to that. Now, it doesn't have all the cool bells and whistles that a Bamboo does, but in terms of reliability and printability, they're on par. I would put Elegoo pretty much underneath it, Anycubic underneath it, Frozen literally right on par with it at times. So yeah, that's just me using several printers. I've done reviews for over probably 400 printers at this time. I'm not even joking. Most of them you guys haven't even seen on the channel. back in the day when I first started, but I used to have a print farm of 50 printers. So it was crazy down here at some times. Anyway, let's check chat before we get into this. Hey y'all, how's it going? What's up? What's up? Smash that like button. Whoop whoop. I'm going to be unboxing your GK3 on Friday. Sweet. Awesome, awesome. Glad to hear, glad to hear. All right, without further ado, let's check this out and get everything set up here. So, we're going to go ahead and click on the screen, and we're going to go to our settings menu for Z movement. Now, one of the great things that I love about these printers is they have an option that no other printer has out there. The problem that I have with a lot of the consumer grade printers, when you move the Z-axis, they have the option to do 0.1, 1 millimeter, and 10 millimeter. It doesn't matter if it's a 500 millimeter build volume, they still have the 10. Like case in point, my Frozen Sonic Mega, that has a 10 millimeter lift at max. So you got to press 10 millimeters, wait, 10 millimeters, all the way up to go 400 millimeters. That's insane. This one, press it, 100 millimeters. I love it. More printers need to do that. And actually, I think the new Anycubics actually have this as well. I don't think they have 100, but they have 50 or something like that. I could be wrong, but they have something like it that makes it better. But look, that's 100. There's 100 right there too. That's so great. I love this. All right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to automatically install our carbon filtration system that is on the back of the printer. It's up here on the back. If you're looking at it back left, and right behind it, there's a little slot that you put this into, and it literally just goes right in there. I think it's magnetized, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go ahead, take our vat cover off. And we do have some plastic film on there, so we're going to unlock our vat, and we're going to pull this up so you guys can see the vat and everything. Now, there are some units out there, the GK3s. None of them are actually the production ones. I was actually, I think, the first one to get a production. I'm pretty sure I'm the first one to unbox a production model. So this is the final version of what you're going to see. Here's some ASMR for you guys. There you go. We'll do it again. Round 2, fight. Oh my God, there's so much static coming off that. So the other thing is on this, there's a screen protector on it. Comes from the factory, which is fantastic. Now it does say you have to peel this off. Okay. Can never get these right, dang it. I always end up peeling the sticker off. There we go. I got it. Now, can you leave this on there? Yeah, you probably can, but the thing is they're a little flimsy for what you need for printing, so I don't really suggest it. Now, on this vat, it says max 1,000 milliliters. So I think the GK2, you could put roughly 700 milliliters. This one is 1,000, so it's a little bit more. I wish it was a little bit more, but since we have the auto refill system, we shouldn't really have to worry about that. So we'll be perfectly fine with it. Now, let's see. It does look real nice. That's a good first resin printer. Yeah, I'd say so. So just to give you guys a little bit of insight, they are on pre-order right now from the Uniformation website. You can go to uniformation.com, and I believe they are selling for $11.99. So it is a little bit of a nail biter there in terms of price, but I will tell you that no matter what you spend on the Uniformation website on a printer, you're going to get a good product. So I personally have not had any bad products from them so far, and I'm hoping that it continues with this model. Now, there are some differences with this model that I'm a little iffy about, but I've had good results with the parts that they were telling me about. And I think we'll be okay. So here's the build plate. Now, this is something that I wish all resin printers had. Even if they had a flex plate, I'd be perfectly fine with that, as long as they have this style of build plate. So if anybody knows about resin printing and have dealt with resin printers before, you guys all know when it goes down into the vat, usually the resin comes up over the build plate and you just got a huge mess of resin on here. So when you pull that off, resin just drips everywhere. On this, it stops. There's a lip right here, okay? This is probably the best designed build plate. Formlabs has it. They have it. I think there's one other company that has it. I forget their name, though, at the moment. I know there's at least one more. And this is probably the best plate in terms of keeping your mess down, which is another reason why I absolutely love these printers. So this should slide right in here somehow, some way. Or, I'm not right. Did I take that off the one? There we go. Okay, it's just off a little bit. Okay, so it sits on there and it locks down into place. Now, good practices say that we should really re-level this build plate, but like I said, I've never had to re-level a build plate for the GK2, only for the GK1 once, and that's it. That's how a resin printer should be. You should only have to level your build plate literally once, maybe twice if you have to replace your screen, just to be on the safe side. But I'll be honest, I've replaced screens on some of these other printers. I've never had to re-level it, ever. So you plan on buying a printer around July? Well, I'd say give it a month's time. We'll probably have a nice review for this printer, and you guys will know the results of that. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit more budget friendly, they do have a smaller version of this printer called the GK2. And I will tell you that is hands down, if you ask me to take out one printer and only have one printer in my arsenal of, what, 15 printers that I have right now, 16, it would be the Uniformation GK2, hands down. I wouldn't even hesitate to say, yeah. Oh, you choose that over the Bamboo Labs? Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had failures on the Bamboo Labs. I've had multiple failures. I've had one failure on the GK2, one in its lifetime. So that's just to give you some inside info for that. And this just looks sexy. I love this. I love the green. That's my favorite color, oddly enough. You know, I know a lot of stuff that I have is red and black, but green is my favorite color. So I might be a little bit biased towards this. I'll be completely honest, because like I said, I kind of started the company and grew it with the company. So again, I might be a slight bias to it, but essentially, I'd still choose it, regardless if I wasn't biased towards it. So, thank you for the follow, by the way. They want a recovery, feeling good. Awesome, glad to hear, man. Let's check the other chat here. I wish I had chat in one area. Show build plates side by side. I think I got something on the build plate, but we can... Oh, you know what? I have the smaller dental one. So here's the GK2. Now, this isn't the GK2. This is their dental build plate. So you can buy a build plate that's half the size. And essentially, this is the same exact build plate style, like I said. It has that small little lip here, and then it has a huge lip where no resin can go on top of it. This is a smaller one. Let me see if I can grab the actual build plate, because like I said, I do have a print on it. It should be okay to hold here. There we go. As long as we're okay. Why can I handle this like this? Because there's that lip there. So again, I printed this little articulated unicorn flat on the build plate. No problems. Look at that. Perfectly fine. Not one issue. And I can do that over and over and over again. I can do batches. I can do whatever I want. It'll just click and print. It's I can't say it enough. It's literally the best printer that you can have. And I know there's some people that'll probably have some issues with it. It happens. But the majority of people that do have these usually have good results. Go to the other competition, it's usually twisted around. It's usually more people having bad results than good results. I am one of those people. So, all right, let's go ahead and check this out. What's up? It's Boy in Space. How's it going, buddy? All right. No worries. We're just about ready to start our first print. So, since we've been working with Prusa on their new CMYK kit, I think it's only fitting to take a mixture of sky blue that we did and print something with it. Maybe we'll just do a test print because we got 270 milliliters or so of resin in here that we can use, and we'll use it for a test print. Now, here's some of the cool things about this. It does have like an ambient lighting system on here. Now, why doesn't it have like a white LED? I personally like white LED. The problem is some of the resins are reactive to a white LED. Some people may not know that. I found that out the hard way. I had a desk light that I had that was just an LED strip. Nothing spectacular, nothing fancy, just a cheap one that I bought on Amazon. And I was mixing up some green resin in a glass, essentially, to measure out exactly how much I needed for a print. And I poured it into the vat, I started the print, and I put the cup down on my desk. Now, the light was probably, I don't know, about the top here, and the cup was down here. And it cured the resin inside the cup, the leftover resin. And I was like, wow, that's a new one to me, because apparently some LEDs do have some of their light on the spectrum of 405 nm, and it'll actually cure your print. So, very fun things to find out. Actually, not so fun things, but whatever. Excuse me. Dental build plate, you didn't know that was a thing. So like I said earlier, there's a difference between consumer grade printers, professional printers, dental printers. This is really designed to be a dental printer, not really for consumer grade. Can you use it for a consumer grade? Absolutely, 100% you can. But their main staple is to do industrial parts, very heavy duty things, rapid prototyping, and dental. So for the Uniformation GK-2, it was highly marketed for dental use in other parts of the world. Not so much here in the US, but in other parts of the world it was. And so they produced a smaller build plate, so you're not using up the entire build plate. It's not the end of the world. Like, you could use the regular build plate with a dental thing. There's no real reason behind it. It just makes it a little bit easier to work with. It's not so cumbersome. All right. So let's go ahead and shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake some resin. Shake some resin. What's up, Lightspeed? How's it going? What's up, Josh? All right, so we're going to go ahead and pour this bad boy out. Look at this nice blue color. This is sky blue that we made. We mixed our own resin. We made our own resin color out of white, magenta, black, and cyan blue, essentially. And we made this sky blue. It's almost the color of my gloves. Actually, it's a little bit lighter. But that's really, really cool. How cool is that? That you can make your own colors on demand, which, if you guys are interested in that, you guys can check out the last video that I posted on the YouTube page about the Prusa CMYK kit. Those gloves, meow. Yeah, so I don't really like using those gloves. I use a little bit heavier duty textured gloves. Wow, this is a really fancy looking USB key. I don't usually keep these, so that's another thing about me is I don't care how nice they are. I'm going to replace them with a SanDisk. I use very, very small USB setups. So I am not going to utilize this past just, doing some printing. All right, so we're going to go over to the U-disk, and we're going to see what's in here if we can get anything. Okay, so we have a test file, leveling test file. Okay, might as well shoot. All right, so it's going to print 5 little squares. So it's going to do a square here, square, 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 and then one in the center. So essentially, it's a build plate leveling system that we're going to do a test print on and see how it levels. We're not feeding any material, so we don't need to do that. We need to turn that off. So let's turn that off for right now. System settings. Gotta be in here somewhere. Feeding message. So we can do auto feeding system, and then it says resin bottle pipe cleaning. Huh. So it actually cleans the resin bottle? Low resin volume, drain resin to vat, clean up the bottle before replacing the resin. That's very interesting. Okay. So to turn off the resin feeding system, there is a option for that in the second menu. So we're going to go ahead and reprint this, see if we could do this again. And we're going to go ahead and press it again. And it should be good this time. Okay, so now it has got a built-in heater. So that's another great thing about this printer is that you can actually utilize literally any type of resin you want. All depends on how deep your pockets are. So like on the Uniformation GK-2, it also has a heater, and we just did some engineering resin. Now, if anybody knows anything about the world of resin printing and resin itself, there's a whole vast array of different resins that you can use. I mainly use ABS-like resin. That's my go-to pretty much nowadays because it's a nice in-between of like everything that I need. It's got a little bit of flexibility and a little bit of strength. It's not going to shatter into a million pieces if I drop it on the floor. So that's really, really nice. But there was a project that I needed to do, a movie prop actually, that I needed to print for somebody. And they requested to have something a little bit more heavy duty. So we went with engineering resin. Now, there is a huge difference with engineering resin. It was actually my first time using that type of engineering resin. I've used some higher end resins before, but nothing like that. It literally is like sludge because at ambient temperature or cold temperatures, it's literally like thick, like molasses, okay? Like taffy. But when you heat it up, it like, what is it, solidifies the word, I think? Maybe? It basically liquefies. There we go. Liquefies a little bit. Doesn't entirely do it, but when you heat it up, it liquefies it a little bit so you can print it a little bit easier and it prints beautifully. So that's another feature that this printer has over most of the printers on the market nowadays, is it has a heater system as well as an air filtration system, both working at the same time. I'm talking to you, Anycubic. Anyway. So that's two things that are really, really nice. I do like the built-in light bar that they have inside here. That's a nice addition. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know that they had that. So that's really, really cool to have that because it's really hard to see inside of here sometimes, especially when I'm using black or dark colors. It's hard to see in my area because I do have some lighting, but it's not the greatest. And I don't have lights set up on my system here for my racks because, well, like I said, sometimes LEDs can cure resin, especially clear resins are more susceptible out of anything. So you just got to be careful with that. So I don't have LEDs around my workstation here. Got to make sure I power up. Anyway. Let's take a look and see what this is. I didn't even know what it was set at, so. You gonna start working? Are you still heating? Did we not turn on the heater? Let's turn off the heater because we don't need that right now. All right, so maybe something's with the heater. I don't know. We're not going to do preheat. We can turn off the LED light, which is nice. So yeah, you can. The cool thing is you can disable all these systems if you really want to. You can disable the airflow system. You can disable the heater. You can disable the leveling system. You can disable everything. Why? What are we doing here? Or what am I doing wrong? Apologies for the sniffling. I'm still battling a cold, so. Oh, because the temperature is not set. That's why. All right, let's turn off the heating. So the temperature is set to 25 degrees, which the ambient temperature in here is past that. So that's why it's not working, because I'm past 25 degrees Celsius already, because it is a little toasty in here. So we're going to disable the heating system. We're going to see how it goes. Hopefully it doesn't destroy anything. Okay, so it's homing all the way at the top. And now it's going to go all the way down. Okay. So let's go ahead and check out our chat, see what's going on here. If the budget allows, the GK is a great printer. I agree. I've also never had to level the GK1 or GK2. Good. Yep, see? I think I might keep it all on. Well, yeah, you can keep it all on, but like I'm sitting here wondering, what am I doing wrong? And I realize that I'm looking at this, that the temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. Well, the heating temperature is under 25. It's like 24.8. So it's sitting there trying to reach 24.8, and it's like erroring out because, well, the heat, the ambient heat is already above that. So it's like, what do you want me to do? So it's not understanding that it doesn't cool. So, oh well. So we just disabled it. So thank you for all of the gifts. Thank you guys. 1900. Yeah, I know it's a big shot there, but if you're really wanting to go big into the resin type of printing, this is going to be one that's probably very hard to beat. Now I will say this is going to be the year. This entire year is going to be the year of larger printers for a lot of companies. Sorry, I have to sit down because I'm old. Once you hit that 40, man, it's just things don't work like they used to. Anyway, I know for a fact that this year is going to be the year of larger printers, which is fantastic. It's something that has been needed to be done in the community for a little while now. We've been kind of stagnant with the same repetitive printers over and over again lately, and it's just time for an upgrade. I think you're going to start seeing a lot of smaller printers kind of dissipate or go away, or even be less used in the industry as we start moving on to larger size printers as the industry standard nowadays. Now, smaller printers, smaller resin printers have always been the industry standard for the last 6-7 years, maybe longer, at least since I've been doing it, at least 7-8 years. And yeah, that, as far as from when I started, they have always been the go-to. It has only been recently in the past year or so that larger resin printers have started coming out because people have started to notice the demand for larger resin printers. Well, what makes it better for a larger resin printer? Well, a lot of new technology is making these printers insanely fast. So just to give you a perspective, normally a resin printer is about twice as fast as any FDM printer on the market up until about a year ago. When Bamboo Labs came onto the market, things kind of changed a little bit. Now there's even faster printers than the Bamboo, like the FL Sun S1. But I also have faster resin printers. I have a resin printer so fast it can print 425 millimeters in 4 hours and 12 minutes. You guys have seen the little miniature version of me that I have here on the channel. I can grab him here in a second. I'll show you. But yeah, he was printed in 4 hours and 12 minutes. That's insane. Now, these printers are definitely not as fast as that one. That one is specifically made for speed, and you are going to break things if you don't know what you're doing. So I don't suggest that printer to a novice user, a beginner, maybe even a moderately advanced user. I don't even suggest it. It takes a lot of time to understand what you're doing with those printers. These printers are a little bit slower than most of the printers out there on the market, and I'm perfectly fine with that because, again, they're still just as fast as an FDM. But the big thing, the big difference between resin printers and FDM, like I said, is they're usually about 2 times as fast, sometimes even 3 times, but even more so of that. So let's say I have a model. Let's take me, for example, okay? I know that, rough guesstimate, okay, we're just guessing here. This model on this printer is going to take me, I don't know, let's say 4 hours, okay? Because like I said, they're a little bit slower. They're made to work, okay? That's why I just let them be. This print is going to take me 4.5 hours. Let's call it 5, okay? Just for the hell of it. On a Bamboo Labs printer with multicolor, this will probably take me 12 hours, all right? On ludicrous mode, let's just call it, okay? Probably is going to be more, but we'll just give it the benefit of the doubt, all right? The fastest FDM printer can probably do this in 12 hours with multicolor. The difference is when you start adding more of these models to a build plate on an FDM, what does it do? It doubles the time, then it triples the time, and it quadruples the time, and so on and so forth. The more models you add, the same time gets applied every single time, or about, right? With a resin printer, it's more lucrative for you to fill up the entire build plate to print in one go than it is to print one model. Because one model will take you 5 hours to print on a resin printer, but 100 of these models will take you the same amount. The only difference is you need the resin to back it up, okay? And that's where the auto refill system comes in. So you really lose out just doing one print at a time. Like that unicorn that I did, that's kind of a pointless print. I can do the entire build plate in the same amount of time. I'm just using more liquid resin to print with. So that's the major difference between resin and FDM, is the more you add, it's only based off of the Z height. So whatever the build volume is, when you max out a print on a build volume, let's say this printer, you max out a print and it says, oh, it's going to take 36 hours. That's the maximum a print is ever going to take. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it, okay? No matter how you orientate a print, whatever, that is the most time this printer will ever take to print. Isn't that wild? That's insane. The knowledge right there, knowing that I know for a fact that this printer can print in 36 hours regardless of what I put on the build plate. Regardless. The same thing with that fast printer I was talking about. The fastest print, 4 hours and 12 minutes. Regardless of what I put on the build plate. That's crazy. And it's really, really exciting because that makes your efficiency go up way high because you already know Okay, I need to quote something for a customer. Okay, if you're somebody who likes to overquote, that's perfectly fine with me. Do what you do. Do I think it's right? No, but that's up to you. That's your business tactics, not mine. I can't say nothing about it, you know? And it is what it is. Anyway, if you want to overquote somebody, you know right away, I'm going to quote them for 36 hours because I know that's what this printer takes. Now, we're just guesstimating. There could be more, it could be less. I don't know. I haven't checked out this printer's abilities yet. We're just doing the first test print, but we will test it out. Now, will I do a speed profile like I've done in the past for the other printers that I have here? Probably. But will I ever use that speed profile on this specific printer? Never. Why is that, you ask? Because I choose quality over the speed. As much as I need to get something done really, really quick, that doesn't always necessarily mean that it's going to print every single time. These printers are slower than most of the industry standard printers that you see, but the major trade-off that you get with these printers is the fact that they just print. That's it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Very rarely do they fail. So, like I said, the Uniformation GK-2 that I've been using for quite some time, I've had one failure that I can think of, and that was the test print that I did, the first test print that I did on this, outside of their test print. And it was a model, and I am properly orientated the model. So I kind of was already gambling right there, but I said, you know what? We'll see. Sure enough, it failed. Reorientated it, set print, didn't change anything else. It printed perfectly fine. From then on, I haven't had a failure since. It's been great. So let's check chat here. Let's see what's going on. All right. New printer looks nice. Yes, it does. Sorry I'm late. Was working to get production run done. Awesome. No problem, man. Welcome to the stream. Let's check here in TikTok land. All right. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the gifts, people. Thank you. Thank you. 40 is the new 18. What are you talking about? Can you tell my body that? Because I'd really like that. Let's see here. Yep, I'll just be happy when it's healed up and can paint again, right? I'm almost 34 and I still make videos for kindergartners, so I agree. 40 is the new 18. You might have something there. You're not even close to 40, right? Can we take a moment to appreciate the reflection on the bamboo? It should look back, it should be backwards, but... Oh, my reflection? The Mage Pro, I think we got them together. It's crazy fast, but not dependable. Yep, and that's what I hear pretty much across the board. How big is that compared to the GK2? All one color, though, resin, right? Yes. So that is one of the downsides of resin printing, is there's no way currently to do multicolor. Like, there kind of is. You can do a rainbow type stuff, but you really got to sit there and play with it, and it's a lot of work. Can it be done? Yes. But a rainbow is about as close as you're getting, or multicolor, or tie-dye, whatever you want to call it. That's about as close as you're getting to that. So yeah, you still do need to paint. But, like I said, we just did a video on coloring systems and making your own colored resin. So if you're someone that does a lot of stuff that has a lot of skin, so you do... What is the word I'm looking for? More revealing figurines that show a lot of skin. You can essentially print in a skin-colored resin and then go and paint from there. But I will tell you that even with the painting and everything, the washing, the curing, everything, you could probably still get most of those done, or at least half of those done, by the time that you get one or two of them done on a multicolor system. And here's the biggest thing. What happens when you have an FDM printer that has multi-material? What do you have? A bunch of wasted filament. A bunch of it. I know people that have print farms that do multi-material. Oh my God. When you fill up a garbage can, like not just a regular garbage can that you have in your house, like the garbage can you take out to the front of your house to have the garbage men pick up, that size garbage can, when you have people that fill those up on a almost bi-weekly basis, that's a lot of filament. That's a lot. That's a lot of money that you're wasting. So there's trade-offs with everything that you do, right? I understand you get the multicolor, but is that a good trade-off? You're losing a lot of money when it comes down to it. Think about how much you're disposing of extra filament, and when it comes down to it, you know, $20 for a spool of filament can be taken care of in a couple FDM prints with multicolor. You really have to think about it in a whole other way, you know. That's why I'm hoping that there's going to be some new stuff coming out this next year. Actually, I know there is, that the community's been working on to try and reclaim some of that, so you're not wasting money. But again, you still have to put up front a lot of money to gain that type of ability, and it's the fact that it's not for everybody. The average consumer is not going to have something like that in their house. You know, this is maybe a print farm will have that in their house, but I highly doubt that. They got time is money on a print farm. Okay, you don't got time to waste. Ain't nobody got time for that. So, anyway, somebody was asking about the GK2 and the GK3. So let's take a look here. So this build volume. Let's start off with the LCD screen. The LCD screen is a 13.5-inch LCD. Now, earlier I had told you guys that I'm a little worried about the reliability of this printer because of some of the parts that they chose to use on this printer. That is the one. That is the LCD screen. So the 13.5 screen is supposedly from Anycubic. Now, I don't know if that's still the case or they decided to go a different direction, but originally when I was talking with them, that's what they had told me. If that's information I'm not supposed to say, oh well, it's out there. But that's what we were discussing. However, I did have an Anycubic M3 Max here for quite some time, and that printed just fine. I had no problems with it. I replaced the screen once. It had failed prematurely, actually, at about 50 hours in, so very, very early. But after I replaced that screen, it printed nonstop. It was a great printer. So maybe they have changed that screen and it's been a lot better. That's about my only worry about this printer. Everything else is still Uniformation stuff. Anyway, build volume wise, we have a 300 by 160 by 300. So that's a pretty large build volume for a resin printer, and that's why there's such that price. This is a 16K resolution. Now, that's something I really want to talk to you guys about. When you guys see marketing for 8K, 4K, 6K, 5K, well, anything that has a number and then a K behind it, as in resolution, 1000 resolution, technically, yes, that is correct. They are marketing it in that way. But when it comes to resin printing, pixelation is really what matters. So a lot of these printers are smaller ones. Now, this is 16K, so this one makes a slight difference. But most of the printers that are out there right now that are boasting the 4K, 8K, 12K, I think it is, some of them have 14K, and some of them have 16K out there. They're 10-inch printers, 10-inch screen printers. There's literally no difference between them, okay? It's a better resolution. You might have a slight little minor pixel density than each other. But when it comes down to brass taxes, your eye can probably only see, normally, maybe 2K resolution. Okay, so when somebody says, yeah, I got a 40K resolution TV, or not a TV, but a printer, that don't mean nothing. Okay, because your eye's not going to see that. When you do see it is when you have a macro lens out there, and you know that shows the detail of it, because your eye can only see so much. Okay, even with 50-50 vision, you're only going to see so much. So that's just marketing gimmick, marketing jargon. I'm not saying don't buy into it, because not only do they sell those printers as a higher resolution, they do also provide a lot of new technology into the printer. So you really have to look at it all together. But in my opinion, they're all the same. Like I don't need any fancy auto refill. I really don't need any air filtration system. I have a whole air filtration system right behind the rack here that takes care of all the printers. Um, and the heating system, yeah, that's a nice plus, but when you go bigger, that's where it really matters. Like these size printers, okay, you definitely need some sort of heating elements, especially I live here in Chicago, so the temperature fluctuates quite vastly. Take, for example, we were at 47 degrees this morning. It's 67 right now. No, I'm sorry, 67 today, and now it's down to 58. So I don't know what the low is going to be tonight, but yeah, our temperature, especially this time of year, fluctuates. Like the next day it could be 90 for all I know. It loves to do that. That's one of the reasons why I can't use water washable, because water washable does not hold up to temperature fluctuation like that, no matter how I cure it. Anyway, this printer does have a lot of features on it, and that's why the price range is set at what it's at. Again, this is not a consumer grade printer. It's not made for the masses. Okay, it's made for people who just want things done. That's it. That's really the gist of it. The same thing with the Uniformation GK-1 and the GK-2. They were priced significantly higher than any of their competition, and that was the problem. They didn't really get out there as much as, the likes of Frozen and Anycubic and Elegoo, because of that, because their price was set a couple $100 more than their competition. Well, there's a reason for that. Okay, it's not like you're just seeing, oh, well, they both print. Yeah, they do. They do both print. And can you get a reliable print out of an Anycubic, an Elegoo, and a Frozen? Yeah, but consistently reliable, it's almost unheard of. I've never ever heard of somebody saying that. And if they do, there's usually some little tidbit in there that they usually forget. I've had to replace a FAP or something like that. I'm talking about all around, not just printability. Like, what do I have to do? Do I have to clean this? Do I have to adjust the build plate? Do I have to do anything? No, I literally set it up, click and print, and it prints for the life like that. Life. So that's how these printers perform. So they're on a different bracket altogether. It's kind of like cars, You have the base model car, you have the mid-range car, you have the high-tier car. They all do the same thing, right? They all drive, right? They drive you from point A to point B. One looks a little bit nicer. One's got better features. One's performance orientated. All kinds of different things. One might be slower, but more luxurious. I'm a Rolls-Royce guy. There you go. I like slower, nice cars. I like the luxuries. As I get older, I like that. It's nice. When I was younger, give me anything fast. Let's go. Okay? So things change. But there's always going to be room for anybody to buy these type of printers. Whether it be the GK3 Ultra or the GK2, or if you can find one, the GK1. There's still a few of them floating around, and they're all great printers. The Uniformation line has been fantastic, at least for me. And I can guarantee that there's a lot of people back there in the forums and Facebook pages and Twitter and wherever social media that you can find, that somebody will say the same, that Uniformation has been great. I've had nothing but good things to say about it. I am the same way. So then there's going to be people that don't have great. It happens. There's always going to be a fluke. Not every single one is going to be fantastic from the get-go. Just how it is. Whether it be user error, company error, printer error, who knows? It can be anything. But all around, the Uniformation company, printers, everything has been great. It's been great for everybody that I know. So let's see how long this is going to take here. See if we Yeah, this is only at 26%, so this is going to take a little while. So these are a little longer of a test printer. Like I said, these printers are a little slower than the normal printers that you see on the market. Like, so here's another thing that I want to discuss about that speed. Okay, buying into speed for a resin printer is just, it's another thing you got to look into. So a lot of these printers on the market claim that they can be very, very fast. And that's true. This can be very, very fast with one little tweak. So most resin printers from the factory print at a 0.05 millimeter resolution. Okay. That is very, very low resolution or layer height for a printer. Okay. You can go down to 0.3, you could go down to 0.1 even. Some printers do that, not all of them. Check your manual. But most can go down to 0.3. Very fine detail. That's literally, there's no lines on it. But when you do that, you also double your print time when you go down. The same thing happens when you go opposite. When you go from 0.5 to 1 millimeter, essentially FDM, that will print twice as fast. So, a lot of these printers that boast that we are super fast, go ahead and check the profile. Anybody that's watching right now, you guys got a speed printer or a printer that has a speed profile? Go and look at it, double click on the resin settings, and tell me what layer height it's at. I guarantee most of them, if not all, are at 0.1. And you'll be like, oh my God, I was wondering how it did that. It was great when I started seeing those come onto the market because I'm like, how did you guys double the speed without changing anything? Like, I was dumbfounded when we went from RGB screens to monochrome screens and we cut our times in half. We were printing at 6, 7, and 8 seconds a layer to down to 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, actually, seconds of a layer. Like, that's a huge difference. Huge. I was dumbfounded, but I understood the assignment. I understood the information behind it on how that's possible. With the new speed printers, there's no possibility behind it without changing something. Now, some of these printers are a little bit faster because they do have faster boards. They can process things a little faster. They have faster axes, z-axis. You know, the motors and everything are a little bit faster, but just slightly faster, not obscurely faster, where it's like double the print time or not triple the print time. So you really have to look into that. Now, will that really matter? Are you going to notice the difference between a 0.5 and a 0.1 layer height? A 0.1 and a half of a layer height. We should name it at that. You're probably not going to notice the difference. Again, the eye can only see so much. Most people are not going to see that. When you see it is when you look up close to it and you're really, really inspecting it, you're going to notice stuff like that. But you're not gonna care. So is it really a major, like, oh my God, it's that's the difference? It's not, but I just wanted to let everybody know that, hey, it's not all what it's cracked up to be. There's little ways that they get around to it. But the thing is I can make that even faster. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine me taking a fast profile and making it even faster? Because I can. I bet you I can. I guarantee I can. So anyway, I think we're pretty much done with talking about this. I didn't leave a link down below, but I'll make sure to include it after we're done with this live video. If you guys are interested in buying this printer, it is available on the Uniformation website. Let's go back to the Uniformation GK2 and the GK3. So let's go and compare these two printers really quick, okay? Before I let you guys go. So price range right now on Uniformation's website, $749.99, and it's a 10-inch 8K printer for the GK2. for the pre-order of the Uniformation GK-3 Ultra is $11.99. That is a 13.5-inch screen at 16K resolution, so essentially double the resolution. Build volume, like I said, is going to be 300 by 160 by 300 for this printer. And the Uniformation GK2 is going to be, if I could find it, wherever it may be. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. 228 by 128 by 245. So essentially you gain 55 millimeter on the Z height. You gain 30 millimeter on the y-axis. And you gain about 82 no 82 millimeters on the X. That might not sound like a lot to a lot of people, but when you're doing resin printing, that's like the difference of like 12 models if you're doing miniatures. That's a big difference. Like, is it worth the upgrade? That's what you really got to think about, but I'll leave that up to you. That's up to your production and what you need. Now, one of the cool things about this new Ultra GK3 is their new ecosystem, which I rather enjoy. I wish that they had sent me the wash system because I'm really curious about that. I'm going to see if they can try and send me one. If not, I'm going to just probably end up buying one. But the wash and cure system for the GK3 is vastly different. The cure is the same. Okay, the box is very similar than the GK2 one, but the wash system, which is another $500 investment, that is very interesting. It looks very similar to the GK2. It is a very small setup. I know it's really hard for you guys to see from there, but essentially it's an ecosystem, as they call it. And it has three little pails like this, a little bit bigger, that hold your wash. And it drains out, much like the Anycubic Wash and Cure Max that we did. This one actually submerges your model and filters it out to those little bottles. So not only do you save on the bottles and how much alcohol you're using, I use denatured alcohol, or whatever wash that you decide to use, it can help you save a lot in the long run. So you pay a little bit more up front, but at the end you get a little bit more. So with that being said, if you guys like the unboxing and setup, go ahead and give us a like, give us a follow. If you guys aren't following, we're over on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter. We are on Facebook still, a little bit. My personal profile is gone, but hey, that's for another day. We are also on TikTok as well. So if you guys want to like and follow all that, the more the merrier, the better. I can provide better content, maybe even get a better table with some of the money that I recoup from doing the videos. And maybe, get a little bit better setup down here to make things a little bit nicer and not so jostled around and whatnot. But yeah, I thank you guys all for stopping in and chit-chatting. And yeah, if you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them down below. And I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Till next time, guys, happy printing.